Wilds of Eldraine is on its way to me, so I want to chat about the set and give you my first thoughts. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. I know we've been a little bit sparse on the content on this channel, but we're going to be upping it. We're going to be going and rolling as we got out of summer. So thank you to all of you who have stood with me and kept watching the videos and who are subscribed, and a huge shout out to all the patrons. Today, I want to chat about Wilds of Eldraine. I want to give you some thoughts as a store owner, as somebody who collects this game and loves Magic the Gathering. I want to give you some of my initial thoughts going into this release. We just got shipment. I just paid for my boxes as a store yesterday, and they shipped, and I think they'll be here Friday or Monday, so maybe we'll get to open some up this weekend. So I wanted to go out and give you some of my thoughts beforehand, and then we'll do that, afterhand too. So currently, Wilds of Eldraine is a really interesting set. There is a ton of people who absolutely love Eldraine and absolutely love Throne of Eldraine. I remember when Throne of Eldraine came out, it was a massive pre-release. A lot of people were coming back into Magic for the first time. It was like, they were coming back into the Magic. They hadn't been, they had been away for a while, and they were coming back into Magic. And I think that set brought more people back into it than most other sets around that time period. Maybe War of the Spark was a little bit hotter, but Throne of Eldraine brought a lot of people back in. And then we had this pandemic, right? And it brought a lot of those people stopped playing because they had nowhere to go. And so now you go back to Wilds of Eldraine. I think there's but I think there's a large demographic of people who will be coming back to Magic the Gathering based on Lord of the Rings and based on Eldraine. These two sets coinciding pretty similarly in timeline together will bring a lot of people back into the hobby. And I think that's really good. That's really exciting. And so, Wilds of Eldraine looks to be a set that also has these really powerful cards in the enchanted stories or fairy tale cards or whatever that's coming out. And I think that is the biggest question mark on this set. We've seen Strixhaven do a very similar thing, and we saw the Brothers War artifacts do that kind of stuff. And I think for this one, the cards seem a little bit more powerful. They're enchantments, the enchanting melodies, I think they're calling it. Anyway, their enchantments are pretty powerful. They're very strong cards. And then they also have the anime artwork that is looking very gorgeous and very awesome. Now, the biggest thing that's different between Strixhaven and this is not the case for Brothers War, but Strixhaven, the alternate cards were in Japanese. And I think that this is actually a really interesting dynamic because some of those Japanese alternate art cards are very expensive. But I personally would never buy a Japanese text card because I don't like having cards in my deck that I can't read. I know it's Demonic Tutor, I know what it does, but I just don't like that. It's just not something for me. So I actually think that these cards would potentially do better than the Strixhaven, versions of the different cards, but the Strixhaven ones, because they are all in English text. The artwork, I think, is a similar level of excitement, maybe even a little bit more for the anime. So I think that kind of package can really send the set going pretty far, and a lot of people are going to want to open it. And I love that this is in every single pack. You get one of these cards in the draft and in the set and in the collectors. I think that's a really good thing. Now, hopefully that set size is big enough that it doesn't completely tank the value of all those individual cards. I was kind of looking at the Strixhaven ones. It seems like there's about 5 to 6 cards that are above like the $10 to $15 threshold. And now Strixhaven was quite a while ago, but I think it's safe. I think it's a little bit worrisome to see the prices of some of these singles tank completely down. I've been working on a video talking about the main question that people ask on Google for Magic the Gathering is, do Magic the Gathering cards have value? And so as much as people and players want to say, print it all to the ground, print it all to, and I understand the accessibility, man, cards having value matters. And when you have doubling season in in Commander Masters as well as in this, it just makes me worried about the prices of some of those cards. But we'll see. We'll see if Wizards has done some stuff to prevent that, or we'll see if we have, $10 to $15 doubling seasons, which could get pretty bad. I mean, that could get pretty frustrating for the EV of this set of Wilds of Eldraine. So we'll see how that goes. I do like that it's available in every pack, though. I just hope that the size of that set, that little mini set, is big enough to understand the supply of the product. So that's that. Now I want to talk about the collector boxes, because this is the thing that I just don't think is quite there. There's no serialized cards that we know of in this set, and typically they would have kind of told us about that by now. So there's no serialized cards. It's really surprising to me, because we have these, this perfect opportunity to put the serialized on these enchantments, and they chose not to do that. And the only real value of the collector box is this like weird foiling, this glitter foiling that they're doing, or confetti foiling that they're doing. And in the last couple months, we just haven't seen the special foil variants. The price points are still decently high on some of them, but the demand is very low. The cards, I'm talking like the Surge foils from Lord of the Rings. Those cards, I guess, are more expensive. They're probably 2 to 3 times their non-foil counterpart, at least, which is, that's a premium for sure. But 2 things. Number 1, they were very, very scarce. And number 2, the demand for them, they kind of sit on the market. Like I pulled one of the Surge foils, I don't remember which one it was, and it sat on eBay for like 3 months. It just sold last week. I pulled it on release day for Lord of the Rings. And so the demand for these kind of flashier variants that are not actually different artwork and are not actually different, you can really barely tell that the foiling is different when it's in a sleeve and on the table. I'm just not sure that Wizards understands that what the market wants is different artwork and something that really, really feels special and looks unique. And they kind of can cheat that in with a serialized card, right? Like you can kind of cheat that in with the gimmick of a serialized card. And so that the collector boxes are missing that. And it's going to be really, it's going to be a really interesting, I can't wait to open up a collector box this weekend and just feel how the set feels in the collector box form. Because when I look at the list of cards or what your pulls are in the collector box, I kind of ask the question, why would I spend any more money on a collector box compared to like a set box? Like I'm gonna get all the enchantment cards that are in every single pack, collector, set, draft. I don't really feel like I'm getting much special in the collector box. I know though that there are the extended art versions are exclusive to the collector box, so maybe we will see the value of those just hold up just due to scarcity of not being able to pull those in the set box. But I don't know, man. I think that this is going to be an interesting collector box without those serialized cards. And honestly, I was very surprised that they didn't end up putting serialized cards in the set. The last thing is the commander decks. And this is a 2 commander deck set, which is really good. That has done pretty well in our store in the past. When people have less options, they tend to, choose one of them. Sometimes you look at the commanders decks from the Commander Masters or Lord of the Rings, there was 5 of them, right? March of the Machine's a better example, I guess. There was 5 of them. People couldn't decide which one to buy, so oftentimes they didn't end up picking them up and getting them. And in this case, you have 2 decks, and that's kind of cool. It's a little bit, I personally don't like it as much because I like doing our commander stream where we play all 4 decks against each other. And you can't really do that with that because there's only 2 decks. But from a consumer perspective, I rather have Wizards create 2 decks that are better and good and more fun and more refined than 4 decks that kind of spread out the the excitement or the interest. And we are getting so many commander decks these days that I kind of like that they have moved to a 2 commander deck set. I think the commander decks are good to have for the set. There's a lot of people who come into the store who they are learning Magic for the first time, or they are just looking to get into commander. Maybe they played a long time ago, and so if they can find a commander deck of the new set that's also coming out, they can play those mechanics in the pre-release, and then they have something to pick up that's easy to bring to a commander table later on. So it's a good onboarding tool. Those decks are good onboarding tools for new players that come to a pre-release. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, very curious to hear your thoughts on Wilds. When you look at the pull rates and the stuff, what do you think is going to go good in the set? What do you think is not going to go good in the set? I can tell you the TCG player demand has been very slow. The boxes are, you're looking at like they're under that $200 threshold already, which is, it seems low for this far out of the set. And I can tell you that Distro basically was like, hey, how many more do you want? So the supply seems to be pretty up there. I think people are a little bit burnt out of Commander Masters. And then we also have people starting to gear up back to school. Money's a little bit tighter. You're getting ready for, the holiday season. Thanksgiving's Christmas now. Everyone's looking forward. So this might be an interesting set to look at and to evaluate. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you have yourself a great day. Be kind to the people around you. And I can't wait to crack open some Wilds of Eldraine with you this weekend.